Hello everyone and welcome to WGBS TV Live, brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. My name is Steve Eunice. In this, our May 21st, 2019 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics you would like to discuss. And while his image is not showing up next to me at the moment, he is live with me. I just don't know why it's not showing up. Let me introduce you to my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike, whenever you show up.
Hey, the internet cannot handle me tonight. I am just, I am all that is man, apparently, but that's okay. Hey, everybody. WGBS Live, now that my notes are up, because Steve and I are having, like, all kinds of problems tonight, so this is going to be a fun show, I promise. WGBS Live is all about Superman, obviously. If you came here to hear us talk about Wonder Woman, you know, we mentioned her at one point, but you're going to be ultimately disappointed. We do want to hear from the Superman fans that are watching us live on YouTube. We usually have a nice little collection of people that watch us as we go. So around the halfway mark, and if Steve's computer doesn't die and my internet doesn't go out, and we don't have too much on the docket, we are going to start taking your calls. To do this, you're going to need Skype. Go on Skype, find Superman homepage, message us, and we'll try to get you on the show. Now, a couple things. One, message us. Don't just call, because that can screw things up. And two, if you are watching us with your speakers on, which some people do, I don't, but, you know, everyone's different, please turn your speakers down, because there is a bit of delay as necessary. Lawyers are involved. I really can't talk about it. There's a non-disclosure agreement in place, but it's just really important because there's that lag.
Yes, and unfortunately, I don't know if it's just me, but I've got a Skype logo instead of Michael's image video next to me, so that might sort itself out soon. But all sorts of craziness are going on at the moment. You've got crap internet at the moment. My computer is dealing with all sorts of issues, and Michael's just hung up on me, so I'm guessing his internet has just dropped out, but we will attempt to get him back on ASAP. Just he has been having some intermittent internet connection problems, so we will hope to get those sorted out for everyone and get the show on the road as per normal. So let's hope that we're able to do that. So I'm just going to try to get Michael back on and see where we go with this show tonight. But we do have a few things to get through. It's been a pretty busy week with some not necessarily directly Superman related material, but Supergirl and Krypton. So we'll try to get that all talked about tonight and see where this show can take us, if technology will play nice. But as I said, at the moment, just having a few technical issues. Michael's internet has dropped out. But look, let's start talking about the Supergirl episode from, and I'm just going to turn off this. I'll leave that back on. Did have the final episode of Supergirl Season 4 last night, titled The Quest for Peace. It was the third and final episode, apparently, that I didn't necessarily enjoy. But for the most part, I thought it was a pretty good episode, and it wrapped up the Lex Luthor storyline nicely. I thought Lex's schemes and plans were interesting there. I thought the Red Daughter storyline kind of wrapped up pretty quickly, and she went out more with a whimper than a bang. So we'll have to wait and see, if that's the final thing. That's all there is to it. So yeah, trying to get Michael back on. I will. Might be worth trying to restart Skype or seeing where I can take this so that I can get Michael back on. But I might try to restart Skype, quit Skype, and then try to see if Michael's available to join back in on this episode. And it's fun when technology just doesn't want to play nice, but I hope you bear with us as we try to sort this out. Good to see lots of you in the comments there on the YouTube channel. Appreciate you watching in And feel free to give me your thoughts on the Supergirl season finale as we sort out these technical issues, and I will address some of them as we go along. Yeah, the Red Daughter thing, as Tina is commenting there, it seemed that Kara did seem to absorb the energy, if you like, the essence of Red Daughter, and it was because of what happened there with Red Daughter breathing her last. It was interesting to see how the special effect there showed Red Daughter's energy being absorbed by Supergirl, and Supergirl having the heat vision that was very much a different color because of Red Daughter's energy being absorbed into her. John Patrick Van Pelt, is Lex expected to come back next season? Well, yeah, it did appear that John Cryer's Lex Luthor had died at the hands of his sister Lena, as you saw in that episode. But there's obviously the kind of looking forward to the Crisis on Infinite Earths thing, where the Monitor comes in and appears to do something to Lex, maybe save him. Not sure. It's really not that clear just what happens to Lex there, but I don't think you can kill off Lex Luthor permanently in this universe and keep him dead. So we'll see what happens with Lex if he comes back in season 5. So wait and see what happens there with John Cryer's Lex Luthor. But there was a few interesting elements at the end of that episode, looking to what's going to be happening with that whole Crisis on Infinite Earth crossover event that we now know will be taking place in season 5 of next season for Supergirl, and crossing over into 5 of the CW superhero shows, including Arrow, The Flash, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and Batwoman. So interesting developments there, and hopefully we'll get Michael back on to discuss that. Skype is just playing all kinds of silly business at the moment, trying to open that back up. What else did we see in that episode? I guess the one element that kind of annoyed me a little bit was Alex's thread there. The whole, she got back her memories of Supergirl, and that was great. I loved that from the past episode. But it just seems that they can't go more than 2 episodes without trying to give Alex a love interest, and I just don't understand why that's necessary. It kind of felt forced, the relationship between her and James's sister. They haven't been spending that much time together really to build such a strong bond. Yes, they bonded over some pretty emotional topics as far as what has been happening with Alex and her adoption process and all that, but I just kind of felt it was a little bit forced to give Alex a love interest straight away so quickly. Not that long ago she was engaged to be married, and it just seems to be that they really don't know what to do with some of these characters, especially with James. He had a bit of a strong thread throughout this episode as well, and it was interesting to see what he did with his powers in this episode. Same with Ben Lockwood, who I think is one of the stronger villains we've had in recent seasons. Some of the people are mentioning Leviathan. That was a big mentioning point, if you like, at the end of the episode of end of the season finale. And Leviathan is something that's happening in the comic books right now, so it's interesting that they're tying that up amongst the TV show as well. So really interested to see whether or not that is corresponding to what's going to be happening in the comic books, or whether or not they're just happening to drop something that is of a similar title in the comic books and the TV show. It'd be interesting to see if they could somehow mesh the two, like Lois and Clark did with the wedding. They did the two of them similar time, both in the comic books and in Lois and Clark back in the day. So if that's something they can do with Leviathan and have it be of similar kind of context in both the TV show and what's happening in the Superman comics. That would be quite interesting. I haven't seen that done in recent times, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there, and whether Leviathan is something that's similar in the comics and similar in the TV show. Okay, it out. So just try to go through some of the comments here. People talking about what they expect. John's asking, what do you think Ben Lockwood is thinking now that he's in jail about his son George? Yeah, that was I guess one element that we saw coming. George really did turn on his father as far as his thoughts on the way his father had attacked the aliens, and I thought George's storyline was a well-timed one to give Ben Lockwood some kind of thought about whether or not he was really on the right side of things, especially the way Lex had played him all along. Everything that he'd done had kind of been orchestrated by Lex, even though he was his own man in many ways. Everything that transpired in more recent times was Lex pushing the buttons, and crashing of Lois and Clark's wedding turned out on the TV series. They had to delay that and create some quite awkward storylines in the Lois and Clark TV show that kind of took the show a little bit off track with the clone element that they brought in. So that wasn't necessarily a great way to get things, but they had to delay what they were doing because of the whole Death of Superman stuff taking place in the comic books. Or maybe it was the other way around. Maybe they delayed the marriage in the comic books because of what they were doing or trying to lead into the Lois and Clark wedding, and they wanted to time them both. Amethyst saying Supergirl is supposed to have more powers than Superman, as in she has a nice sonic scream, so they could actually show that as one of the things that Kara has now. They both have that element of being able to yell really loudly. I don't know if it's necessarily a sonic scream like, say, with the Silver Banshee or anything like that. It's not necessarily a superpower that's really mentioned much at all. But, yeah, interesting one there. Is John's bro alive? If that is who that is. John who are we talking about? Oh, as in John Jones? Yeah, that was an interesting one as well. The Martian Manhunter having apparently a brother or a relative come back and brought back, again, looks like from the Monitor. So what's going on there? It's kind of a really foreboding image that we got to see there at the end. Black Canary is another one with a sonic scream, mentions Tina. So yeah, some interesting elements coming out of the season finale of season 4 of Supergirl, and Michael's review is up on the website now. He just posted it not that long ago, and it's just checking it out. He gave it a 4 out of 5, saying it's kind of weird that the most unbelievable thing that happened in an episode with clones created with Hurrah with sophisticated battle armor, humans with superpowers given to them by the previously mentioned Hurrah, astral dream projections, and a supervillain being named to a cabinet position, that the thing I had the hardest trouble accepting was that people would suddenly turn against the bad guy because of an article on a news site. That was interesting, the fact that Supergirl published that story, and then it started going viral, and everyone started, in the protests, looking at their phones and seeing this article going up, and realizing that Lex had actually duped them and that he wasn't the hero after all. That was an interesting development, and kind of, a little bit hokey. I could understand where Michael was coming from there, not necessarily believing how that played out. And there were a few timing issues in this episode, things that just kind of were rushed maybe, or kind of felt a little bit pushed. Brainy's change felt a little bit strange in that the timing of that and how that happened, and his declaration of love for Nia Nal, it kind of took you out of the story a little bit. Well, it did for me anyway. So that was a little bit strange. Still trying to get Skype working here. We'll quit it again and try to get it sorted out. Just as I said, technical issues tonight. really playing havoc on both sides of my thing with the computer here, Skype not playing friendly, and Michael's had some intermittent internet issues where his connections have continued to drop out. Alright, while I get this sorted out in the background, I'm going to play a few messages and come back and hopefully have everything sorted out with our technical issues. So we'll be back in a moment. Please hang with us as we attempt to get it all sorted out ASAP. Back shortly.
Homepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
This Superman movie is brought to you by Canon, the world's leading camera manufacturer.
Quick and happy.
Canavision 8 camcorders.
I thought you were Superman, huh?
Hey, I am.
If it moves, shoot it with a cannon.
And we're back on WGBS TV Live. Well, I'm back on WGBS TV Live, still trying to sort out our issues with getting Michael on tonight's show. So I apologise that it's just me at the moment. These things happen from time to time, and we just have to push through. Well, I might as well go through some of the other topics that we had to talk to you about tonight. One of them was the Superman 2 reunion panel, which took place at Motor City Comic Con this past weekend. There was Jack O'Halloran, Sarah Douglas, and Hadley Kay in attendance. Now, if you're wondering who Hadley Kay was or is, I'm just grabbing up the images here. That's the panel there. The three of them were on the panel. Hadley Kay was actually the young boy who took a near fatal plunge at Niagara Falls in Superman 2. So interesting to see that they were able to get a young actor back after all these years to appear at the panel there at Motor City Comic Con. He was there with Jack O'Halloran and Sarah Douglas at a Q&A panel where they spoke at length about filming but Superman 1 and Superman 2 at the same time. And if you weren't there in attendance, which obviously many of us weren't, then we're lucky enough that Douglas Meacham, our fine sponsor of this show, one of our great Patreons, has actually videoed the panel for us, and the video is up on our website now that you can watch it in full, and you can check out his Facebook page for a number of the photos that were taken during the Motor City Comic Con there this past weekend. And thanks to Jim Bowers and Jay Towers for hosting that Superman reunion, where those actors were there talking about their time on the movie. So a really interesting panel to check out, so make sure you have a look at that on the Superman homepage website when you get a chance. Also, animated movie will be out on digital July 20th, and then on 4K Ultra HD Combo Pack and Blu-ray Combo Pack on and the DC Universe streaming service on August 13th. Now, why is this being mentioned on a Superman website. Well, Superman does, as does Lois Lane, both appear in this movie, and they are once again voiced by, looking at it, Rebecca Romaine voices Lois Lane, and her husband, actor Jerry O'Connell, voices Superman. They were both Superman and Lois Lane in The Death of Superman and The Reign of the Superman animated movies, and return here to reprise those roles. Batman Hush is, of course, based on the DC Comics story of the same name, and it's well, I've never read it myself, but it's one of the well-loved stories and a classic now from the DC Comics crew. So that is the movie. I've got the promo trailer for this animated film as well, so let's check that out in a couple of seconds right here. Okay, I'm back. I apologize for that delay. It's just been a crazy half hour trying to get everything going back again. I apologize that this has been such a sloppy show. Michael and I have been doing this for a number of years now. We usually get this pretty much right, but apparently tonight technology does not want to play nice with us. I was promising to play the Batman Hush trailer. I don't know if that played already, but here it is. No, doesn't want to play. Alright, I'm going to push on. I don't care about Batman Hush anyway. Alright, so looking ahead at other things that are happening this week, the CW upfronts. They announced their some minor details on Infinite Earths. And I don't know if it is the upcoming crossover event that'll be. It would be taking place across 5 hours. The event would spread over 2 quarters, spanning 5 different shows. What that means, I guess, is that the shows will be part of the mid-season finales of Supergirl, The Flash, Arrow, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and the recently picked up Batwoman, and then they will come back for the conclusion of the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover when those shows return after that mid-season break. So we would be interesting to see what they're doing there. As I said, information is thin on the ground as far as what the plot of this Crisis on Infinite Earths is. They've been dropping some spoilers in the last couple of episodes of the seasons of the shows that we've just been watching. And if you're not familiar with the Crisis on Infinite Earths story, it was written by Marv Wolfman with art by George Perez. It was a 12-issue maxi series which reset the history of the DC Universe, collapsing what was then a multiverse of stories into one single reality. And the story in the comic books was famous for killing off both Supergirl Kara Zor-El and the Flash Barry Allen. Now, I have my doubts that will happen in this Crisis on Infinite Earths in the TV series, mainly because Supergirl and the Flash are 2 of the main characters in those TV shows. It could well do something to do with the disappearance of Barry Allen in the Flash series, but whether or not that will happen with Supergirl, there are some speculations out there. Is in the with Superman possibly dying or something along those lines in this show. And that's not my stomach growling. That's the chair that I'm sitting on. Seems to be a little bit of needs a little bit of spray, a bit rusty. All right. And Mike's asking how loud are her speakers if she can hear my stomach growling. Maybe headphones. But still unable to get Skype working on this end of things. Unfortunately, Michael has just missed out on tonight's show due to all these technical problems. It still might happen. We're still trying in the background, but I'll push on anyway. So that's the Crisis on Infinite Earths. I mean, the shows will start off the second half with the crossover in January 2020. I don't know if they'll start their new... well, yeah, I guess that will happen in January when, in January, as you say, John, with the other side of the Crisis on Infinite Earths saga. So I imagine there'll be a cliffhanger endings for those mid-season finales or mid-season breaks. So on the other side of TV news that we have this week, Krypton Season 2 is about to begin June 12th. And the Sci-Fi have really been ramping up their promotions for this upcoming season of the Krypton series. And they release a number of graphic posters for the main characters of that Crystal. We also have one for Adam Strange, and it says, where would he be without his handy-dandy Zeta beam? Hopefully we won't have to find out. They also released one for Lighter Zod, saying not sure which of the Zods we should be more scared of. And there was also one released today, or yesterday, of Nyssa Vex, and it says there was a line to go along with that release of that image too, and I don't know if they'll be releasing more of these character images, but they are pretty nice. And yes, people asking about those oversized watches. Well, the little green screen behind me doesn't kind of cover every element of my wall, so unfortunately it kind of ruins the effect. But when Michael's usually side by side with me, it's kind of framed nicely. But these are this is a wall and a part of the Superman Museum that's in Metropolis, Illinois. So that was my scene for tonight's backdrop. These are some of the oversized watches and smaller watches and other graphics and frames that are part of one wall of the Superman Museum in Metropolis, Illinois. And it's usually framed nicely. You can't see these other elements of my own background when Michael is on with me. So you're kind of seeing behind the curtain here as it is how things are working when the show's not working, as it were. So yeah, with Krypton Season 2, they've really been ramping up the promos for this second season. That's Krypton Season 2, and they also released the title of the first episode of this second season, and along with a gallery of 16 different images for you right now. The episode title was, and just doesn't want to play nice at the moment. Light Years from Home is the title of the episode, and some of the images that were available and are available up on our website in a gallery of 16 on your screens right now. And they show number of the characters, including Seg-El there fighting to get out of the Phantom Zone, it appears, or looking at something the Phantom Zone is showing him. So as I said, this will air on Sci-Fi in the US on Wednesday, June 12th. Not sure of the exact time at this moment, but it's probably the same time as it was last year. No word yet from Sci-Fi here in Australia when Krypton Season 2 will air, but I imagine it will be around the similar time. And we look forward to Season 2 of Krypton, as the first season really kind of surprised a lot of people, and it was better than most expected, and well worth a look. And Season 1 is now available on the DC Universe streaming service if you are a subscriber, so make sure you check that out. Right, on the comic book side of things, Superman number 11 came out this past week, and it was a pretty good comic book. I really 15th, and it's the part 5 of the House of L story by Brian Michael Bendis, with fantastic art by Ivan Rice. And it fits into it takes place prior to Supergirl number 30, which came out last week. So they kind of got swapped around, both words trying to go out at the same time. And so you need to read Superman number 11 before you read Superman number 30, and it deals with what Clark and John find when they go into space to find where Jor-El's ship is, and he's in the midst of a three-pronged attack that is taking place, helmed by the Thanagarian Black Order Squad, Gandella's Trillium Collective, and the Kuns. And really interesting. I love the way that Superman was portrayed in here, especially his reputation and the way that he's able to command the respect of those warring factions, to be able to call a halt to things, to get a read on what's going on and where, what's the right of things and where things are at. And then the ending moves into where Supergirl number 30 started. So that's why you need to read them in that order. Rob saying Supergirl 30 is sold out every comic store in his area. Doesn't surprise me. Supergirl is a good read at the moment. It's a well-structured comic book, and I'm enjoying Supergirl where things are going with that story at the moment. It's tying into the Superman story as well. So, Rob, if you're unable to get a physical copy, it might be worthwhile checking out the DC Comics app and Comixology to be able to get a digital copy, so that you can find out where that story is going if you're unable to get a physical copy of Supergirl number 30. Also this week, the comic books that are coming out this week, and there is only really the one Superman comic book out this week. Right, where is it? This week's comics. Action Comics 1011 begins the Leviathan event, and that is available in a variant cover, which makes up the background of our current background on the Superman homepage website, and is a fantastic cover of Lois and Jimmy being saved there by Superman. So that's out this week, Action Comics 1011. It's a very quiet week for Superman comic book fans. There aren't any trade paperbacks available this week, so that's what you have to look forward to, Action Comics 1011. Now, this past week we also saw a lot of promotions for the Leviathan event, or event Leviathan, and Superman Leviathan Rising is the comic book that it comes out on June 12th. Event Leviathan number 1 comes out June 12th. It is the first issue of a 6-issue mystery thriller which stretches across the DC universe, touching every character from Superman, Batman, right through to the Question and Talia al Ghul. And we have some on the website, and here's one of the graphics about this event Leviathan, and that is the Superman comic book that ties into it. There's the graphic I was talking about. We've got a number of these graphics that are dealing with different characters, that is promoting the 6-issue mystery thriller by Brian Michael Bendis with art by Alex Maleev. And it's sure to shake up quite a bit of the DC universe, so well worth looking into, I imagine. But we also received some preview pages for Superman Leviathan Rising number 1. DC Comics gave us some images from within the comic book that Superman fans might want to check out. There's a gallery of those available on our website, and that looks like it might be an interesting story leading into event Leviathan. So if you are a comic book reader and are interested in these upcoming crossovers, then check that out. We also have the entirety of Bendis and Maleev's story from DC's Year of the Villain number 1, which was released on May 1st, up on our website as well. So they're all on the same page. Preview pages for Event Leviathan up on the Superman homepage is the page you want to go to see all these pages from these particular comic books. Alright, and the DC solicitations for August were also released this past week, and some interesting comic books coming out in August that Superman fans will want to check out. And amongst those was Batman Superman number 1, which is there as the cover for it. Up in the sky in the dark of the night, trust no one, for the Secret Six walk among us. Spinning out of the devastating events of Batman Who Laughs, Superman and Batman are together once more in an all-new monthly series, and they're facing a terrifying new threat that could strike from anywhere. The Man of Steel and the Dark Knight must journey into the depths of Gotham City to learn which of their fellow heroes has been transformed into the horrifying horseman of their most dangerous and deranged foe ever. Our heroes will need to fight to survive, but even more dangerous questions lurks in the shadows. Can Superman and Batman even trust each other? So trust issues raising their head again with this pair. Batman Superman #1, written by Joshua Williamson with art by David Marquez, is out on the 14th of August, so you'll want to check out that. Also out in August, amongst other things, is Lois Lane #2, the second issue of the Lois Lane series, written by Greg Rucka with art by Mike Perkins. It says, famed writer and reporter Lois Lane never worries about speaking truth to power, so what's she hiding from the most powerful man on the planet, her husband, Superman? Investigating a widening international conspiracy, Lois puts herself in the crosshairs with backup from an unlikely new ally from the streets of Gotham City. And this issue #2 of Lois Lane, will be out on the 7th of August. And yeah, Lois doesn't look very happy there, showing her press pass to somebody. So that is issue #2 of Lois Lane. Also out in August are obviously Superman Year 1 #2, the Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. Series. Action Comics 1014 is also out in August, as is Superman #14, which is written by Brian Michael Bendis and says Lex Luthor is back in Metropolis. So check out the Superman solicitations for comic books coming out in August at our website. There are quite a few interesting comics in there, and including some trade paperbacks and hardcovers of collected editions as well. Sadly, no actual collectibles like action figures or statues solicited in the August solicitations. So make sure you check out all those at our website when you get a chance. John mentioned, and I mentioned earlier, but I think I might have been offline, a few issues happening with the... it is available to download. You just click on the link at our website and you'll be able to follow all the information from Fan Guru HQ. You'll be able to create your own custom schedule, chat with other fans and attendees, create and join meetups, view the complete guest list, and then follow your favorites, access key information even when you're not online, and get real-time updates during the event with more information available on this first ever Superman Celebration app for the 2019 festival. For more details on the Superman Celebration, which takes place June 6th to June 9th, head to supermancelebration.net. And don't forget that the Superman homepage meet and greet is also taking place at the Superman Celebration this year on the Friday at the American Legion building at 10:30 a.m. Friday morning of the Superman Celebration. And the first 100 people who turn up to the Superman homepage meet and greet will get a Superman homepage 2019 button that they can pin on their jacket, dress or coat. And that is the graphic currently on screen. That is the official graphic for this year's Superman Celebration, and you'll be able to buy t-shirts with that graphic at the Metropolis Chamber of Commerce there in Metropolis, Illinois. Interesting to note that they're still using the Rebirth costume in that design rather than the current costume that's being used with the trunks and everything in place. So nice graphic there. Looking forward to seeing everything coming out from this year's Superman Celebration in Metropolis, Illinois. And if you haven't made plans, you should. I guess there are still probably rooms available at the hotels and motels around the area. It's well worth attending. You won't be disappointed. So make sure you check out the Superman Celebration. Announced this week was Prime One Studios' Masterline Injustice 2 Superman statue, and they released this very impressive video highlighting all the different elements of this statue, and I'm just looking for it right now. Here it is. So that was the very nicely done video showing all the different elements of this Injustice 2 Superman 1/4 scale statue, which stands over 29 inches tall and comes in a deluxe version, and it's available in its standard version for $799 US, and the deluxe version for an extra $100. And the deluxe version comes with 3 interchangeable portraits, a swap out chest emblem, and interchangeable arms. So it's based on the Injustice 2 version of Superman, which obviously was set in a alternate variant reality, and this is a statue that will look good on any collector's desk or shelf, and it will come out, you can pre-order it now for ahead of its release in sometime between July and September 2020, so not till next year, but premium Masterline Injustice 2 Superman statue for anyone who's a fan of the Injustice 2 storyline. So check that out. Well, that pretty much brings me to the end of tonight's very messed up episode of WGBS TV. Apologise that Michael was only on for a short amount of time before technology got the better of us. I apologise for all the delays and stuff ups in the middle of the episode and early on, where we were having technical issues both on my side of things and Michael's, and the internet was just, look, that's technology. Sometimes it just doesn't work, and sometimes you just have to push through and do your best. And I hope that you still got something out of this episode. I appreciate the guys and girls that stuck around for this episode. Appreciate your continued support of the Superman homepage and WGBS TV Live. Thank you for continuing to watch tonight's episode, even though we had quite a few issues. Really appreciate your continued support, as I said. And a huge thank you to our sponsor and patron, Douglas Meacham, for his support of this show. And if you want to support the Superman homepage and everything we do, then please head to patreon.com/Superman homepage, where you too could be a sponsor for as little as $3 a month. So not much to ask for all that we do here and everything we provide at the Superman homepage. So that is tonight's episode. We will be back, hopefully, Michael and I, next week, Tuesday for you guys in the US at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time for another edition of WGBS TV Live. We'll also, don't forget, be doing the monthly segments, being the last Tuesday of the month, which will be so it's the 28th for you guys of May. We'll be doing the segments, the Super Secret Soundbite and the Big Question segments next month. So if you haven't got your answers in for those, then please get to those ASAP so that we can include you in next week's episode. But again, thank you to all the people on YouTube there for your comments and participation live on this show. And if you want to watch the show back, miss part of it, I'll be interested to see what it looks like when it's all put up. The complete, maybe not